Hello guys, what is going on? My name is M1K3 and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about something that's very relevant for a lot of people watching me, and that's how to perform on high ping. I'm going to be telling you guys the full truth on what it takes and what kind of work you have to put down to be able to place highly with high ping. Because trust me, no matter what ping you're on, you can still place in tournaments. Before we get into that, you guys are absolutely killing it on code M1K3. And if you have been enjoying my content recently and want to directly support me, using my code is the best way to do so. With that said, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and let's get into today's episode. Firstly, we need to answer one of the most frequently asked questions I get. What's better, being a fast mechanical player that messes up every now and then, or a smooth, slow, and precise player? And on high ping, the answer is easy. You want to be as consistent and smooth as possible. This is because one mistake can severely punish you and end up getting you killed. On the other side, with a low ping, you can get out of pretty much any situation, as you can easily take walls, your build and edits are more responsive, and it's overall less punishing to mess up when you have low ping. That's why your goal on high ping should not be to be the fastest mechanical player, but rather a smooth and precise one that never messes up and stays consistent even during big mechanical fights, like build battles or box fights. Secondly, in this video, I want to touch upon an arguably the most important thing you have to realize if you ever want to do great on high ping. And that is the simple fact that you can never, and I mean not once, rely on holding a wall. Whenever somebody is trying to take a wall on you, you have to have a plan ready on how to either make a counterplay on your opponent or to rebox and reset the fight. This makes knowing your drop spot and how you can both loot it and farm it one of the most essential things you gotta know if you ever want to do good on high ping. I see a lot of high ping players that are very inefficient in the way they both farm and loot, and this more often than not causes them to lose off-spawn fights. On high ping, you generally need more mats than if you are on a lower ping, because of all the angles you have to create for yourself and because you have to rebox every now and then when fighting. It's also crucial that you do your right hand peeks correctly so that your opponents can barely see you. A lot of people still have a lot to work with when it comes to perfecting peeks, including me. The third thing that's crucial when playing on high ping is aim. Aim is more important than anything else on high ping, and there are multiple reasons as to why this is. For starters, you can't take walls on high ping, so a lot of the time you have to jump into boxes, and when you're in somebody's box, it all comes down to who has the best aim. 50-50 is something you have to do when playing on high ping, and in order to minimize your chances of getting killed, I would strongly recommend taking some time out of your practice routine to play Kovacs and aim duels. Doing this has immensely helped me improving my aim, and I play just around 30 minutes of Kovacs every day, and I can confidently say that I wouldn't have been half the aimer I am today without Kovacs. Moving on, it's time to talk about tournaments and what you have to do to place highly on the leaderboard when playing Cash Cups and FNCS. On high ping, there's no denying the fact that you're at some level of disadvantage when it comes to fighting because of your circumstances. That's why it's incredibly important to adapt and play based on your ping. If you play on a very high ping, there's no reason for you to W key to get your points, as this is truthfully just an inconsistent way to place in tournaments. However, if you do your research and VOD review your games correctly, you can get to the end game in every game you play. And this is, from my experience, a much better way to consistently be able to place highly on the leaderboards. Some of the main factors when it comes to getting to endgame is firstly having a good early game, where you get properly good loot, preferably blue weapons with 6 minis and an extra healing like bigs or floppers, and obviously you want to max out your materials. Needless to say, your drop spot means a whole lot for high ping players, and how you play the first 5 minutes of your game is going to have a massive impact on the remaining 20 ones. So keep that in mind and stay as efficient as possible right off spawn. In the mid game, you want to try avoiding fights unless it's natural that you go for one. For instance, if you see 2 players fighting on edge zone and you know you won't get third partied, going for that fight will be the right play. In addition to that, if you get unlucky and don't get good loot off spawn, you will need to fight an opponent to upgrade your loot and better your chances of winning the game. There's no need for you to play out a Cash Cup game with terrible loot. W key somebody, and if you die, you queue up into the next game, and if you kill him, Good job! Now you can win the game. Playing and placing on high ping requires a lot more skill than placing on low ping, and there's no doubt about that. There's just so many things that can go wrong on high ping compared to low. And where a lot of people that have high ping go wrong is who they watch on YouTube and Twitch. If you have 90 ping in game and you watch Benji Fishy, Clicks, and Booga, that will set an unrealistic standard of what kind of mechanics you can get. Because even though you can get amazing mechanics on 90 ping, it's simply impossible to have the same speed as players like Clicks because you're limited by your ping. This obviously does not mean that you can't place in tournaments, because you can. And in reality, it's very doable. And recently, I've been watching a player that goes by the name Nanolite a lot. He is a high ping pro player that's incredibly smart and actually made a video about W keying on high ping that I would recommend everyone to check out. The last thing I want to talk about in today's episode is that if you make excuses and say the only reason you're not a pro is because of your ping, then you're throwing away any opportunity you had in the first place of making it within Fortnite. Nobody cares about your excuses, and the only thing you can do about your problem is adapting and doing the very best you can. On that note, let's conclude today's video and answer the question, what does it really take to succeed on high ping? Truthfully, there's a lot to it. In order to become a professional player on high ping, you have to be as consistent as nobody else. There's no room for failure in builds nor edits when you're on high ping, as this will severely punish you. Additionally, the sooner you learn that you can't hold walls and base your game style around that fact, the sooner you'll be able to exponentially improve and start performing. The overall most important skill you need to be able to place on high ping is aim. You need to rely and be confident in every play you make, because you often get no do-overs. If you have a chance on high ping, you take it. For high ping players, a game plan is also crucial. Knowing how to loot and farm the most effective way possible is a must if you want to be able to consistently have good mats and loot going into the end game. After you've done all of the other things mentioned in today's video, if you can keep a positive and improvement-like mentality, there is nothing stopping you from absolutely popping off in 2021. Look at every death as an opportunity to improve rather than something to get mad at, and trust me, you'll become very, very good. That is going to be it for today's episode. If you made it this far, just know that I appreciate you a ton, and you actually mean the world to me. With that said, my name has been M1K3 Editz. Stay safe and take care.